Hello again. Today is the 27th of August. Now is almost half past 11 in the morning. I am Levan Gudadze, former journalist, maybe even future one, if I manage to go back to my profession. Uh, and you are watching my little project in which I do share with you news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets for this moment and my commentary, which may be interesting for you. At least I hope so. Um, First of all, before I start, let me ask you again to subscribe on my channel because I do need some help to bypass barriers that are created by YouTube algorithm, which is suppressing independent voices all over the world. And as I understand, particularly from Russia. I'm saying that because whenever I check my statistics on my channel, you know, I can clearly see that very few people are watching my videos by YouTube recommendations. So if YouTube is not showing my videos to YouTube community, let me say that way, then of course it's hard to reach audience that are interested in politics, geopolitics in Russia, from in news that comes coming from Russia or commentary. So please, if you can subscribe on my channel, that will be a great deal for me and big help. Now let's check some media outlets and see what kind of news are making headlines. There are some interesting developments. So let's see. Let's see and talk about this. So this is news of the last minutes. We are on Russian news agency TASS's site, and here we have news that armed forces that are loyal to Zelensky's Nazi regime yet again did shell Energodar, city of Energodar, in which Zaporizhzhia nuclear power station is based. In this information, we can read that 9 artillery shells struck close facilities in close proximity from Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. It seems like Zelensky's Nazi regime was using 155 millimeter shells. Probably that's a 777 howitzers, but whatever it is, man, fact that Zelensky's regime is shelling nuclear power plant is on itself is crazy enough to everyone be everyone be let me translate this word, man. very to that's quite a stuff to be worried about. So that's news of the like last hour. Let me say. What else, man? Here we have information that DPR in DPR officials are saying that DPR forces did take out in firefight some U.S. Some American mercenary. Name is Alan Joshua. That's what DPR officials are saying. So incident took place in 23rd of August in firefight close to Igorovka town. You know, this citizen of US that was killed in action on Donbas soil is born in 1998. So in Memphis, or at least he was from Memphis. He was probably living there. That's a story. Is I mean, more than dozen of U.S. citizens are already been killed in action in this conflict, and it seems like this number will grow and grow because, as I understand, for those mercenaries that were quite happy to go to Ukraine to fight Russians, they are now in some kind of they are like hostages now, and some of them may even can't leave Ukraine even if they want to. But that's all their fault, man. They did wrong. They did made wrong decisions, man. It is what it is, though. Uh, so we have information here that let me translate this phrase entirely. The units of Russian airborne forces were able to stop an attempt to break through the Ukrainian motorized infantry with the support of infantry fighting vehicles in the Nikolaev Krivoy Rog direction. That was reported on Saturday in the Russian Defense Ministry. As specified in the Ministry of Defense, as a result of this fight, more than 20 military personnel of the armed forces of Ukraine and 5 pieces of enemy equipment were destroyed. So it seems like forces that are loyal to Zelensky's Nazi regime are trying to do some local scale counteroffensive in different directions, but they are unable to. They are just unable to do some general counteroffensive like they were announcing in Kherson region. They just can't do it, man. But on local level, some groups may try to do some counteroffensive operations, but as you see, they are pretty much unsuccessful. And anyway, it's one thing to uh, do defensive operations, and different stuff is to do offensive operations. Last 6 months did prove that Ukrainian forces are capable on for to do some defensive operations. They are good in defense, more or less, but when it comes to offensemen, they don't have equipment enough. Soldiers, they don't have enough equipment. They don't have tanks or armored personnel carriers, and they are definitely lacking air support. So it's just, in my understanding, it's just impossible for Zelensky's regime to do some counteroffensive operations in a bigger scale. They just can't do it. They may talk about it, that they are planning. They may announce some kind of counteroffensive for as much as they like, but when it comes to reality, they are unable to do anything, man, in that matter. Let's see what else are making headlines. Let's go to that's TASS. That's we already talked about this. I mean, this is RIA Novosti, the second largest news agency in Russia, and after TASS. And main news here is Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, because I mean it's a big deal, of course, and everyone understands that. So not much really. I mean, it's happening for this moment, other than I already had talked about. Here we have information, and that's Kommersant, Russian newspaper. They are writing in this news that they are writing. I mean, they are based on they are made they are interpreting news from Bloomberg that US and Iran may reach agreement on a nuclear deal in next few weeks. That's of course an interesting development, but I do believe that Israel may sabotage this deal, because they are very much not happy that Washington and Tehran are in talks. And same we can say about Saudi Arabia, because in Riyadh they are not happy either. And if I remember correctly, there was information yesterday or day before that Riyadh was saying that if US reach agreement with Iran, and if US if US will if US will lift sanctions on Iran's oil, then Saudis will decrease oil output. So that's how much unhappy they are in Saudi Arabia because of these talks between Iran and USA. And yet again, I mean, from Iranian point of view, I mean, how they can trust USA anyway, man? You know, they did reach agreement about, they did reach nuclear agreement when Obama was president of USA. Then Trump came to office and he just did not care, and he says he did what he did, and Iran ended up losing this diplomatic and economical struggle, if I may say, or and what guarantees they have in Iran that even if Biden administration will sign some deal with them, next administration will don't uh, don't change their mind and will you know don't do what Trump did at the time. I mean, USA has no respect, man. How you can respect or you know trust US government, man. It's just, I do understand that you have to deal with them because we are living in reality in which USA does play big role in world affairs, but at least for this time, for this moment. But when it comes to some concretics, of course it's hard to or even impossible to trust anything that Washington is saying or Washington is signing for. That's true, man. So what else? What else? Let's check some other media outlets here on Lenta.ru. We have that's information about this little counteroffensive that Zelensky's regime did in Nikolaev and Kryvyi Rog direction. This counteroffensive was a failure. I already talk about this stuff. So yes, I mean, nothing too interesting, man. For this moment, main news is that Ukrainian side or Zelensky regime, let me say that way, are still shelling Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. It's crazy, but it is what it is. And that's it, man. During the day, if we had some more interesting news or some new developments, I will do some another video. But for this moment, probably this is it. Man. Yet again, I remind you to subscribe. I remind you to consider to subscribe on my channel because that will be a great deal for me, really. You know, Even though this channel is like mainly is an opportunity for me to talk in English and improve my English, I do, you know, after two more than 2 months that I'm doing this English language videos, you know, I'm starting to think that it may become something bigger than just opportunity to exercise my language, because in current situation, I mean, I do understand that in the world there are some interest towards Russia and towards opinions that are Russians have, towards a Russian point of view. Let me say that way. So if I can provide some kind of, at least partially, if I can provide interesting content for audience, or this audience that are interested in Russia and Russian point of view, that will be, I mean, great, and to grow channel and to bypass barriers that algorithm are making. I do need some help, man, from you, because I mean, who else, man? I mean, how can I reach big audience? Only to ask you to help me with it. So yeah, it is what it is, man. If you can, please consider to subscribe on my channel and share my video with your friends. If you can't, then yet again, I mean, thank you anyway for your time. So yeah, this is it. This is it for this video. In afternoon, I may do second video if there will be some interesting developments. Let's see. But for now, this is it. Take care.